there's a plethora of shit. I've ridden this now. I've had it for 2 years, but 795 miles.
Wow.
Your speed, there's your
Pedal assist.
pedal assist, and you can see this button right here. I think everything else is kind of explanatory.
Pretty much so. We're gonna go on a little ride, I guess. Well, typically these things don't generally like me. Well, let's see. Hi, horsies. Oh, did you get in the water? Hi. Hi. Oh, they're so beautiful, though. Hi. You got an itch on your neck? You got an itch on your neck? Hi. What is that? Is that a camera? Yeah. Well, he's not biting me. I'm just soaking your lips. Oh, you're just soaking your lips. You're coming in kind of hot. Hi. All right, let's get back on the bike. Nice little stop, though. Bye. Gotta turn the music down before we get a copyright strike. What is up, guys? I am in Golden, Colorado right now. I am about to, obviously, put a V2 on Mr. Babe Adams' beautiful hypersonic C8. But I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Is I generally always show like the end results, this car done, doors up in the air. Don't really focus on the before. It's important to me that you know, one of the main things that I always look for, kind of go through with the customer before I touch this car, is all of the minor imperfections that most of you guys who own this car don't see, don't pay attention to, they don't pop out, they don't stand out until I point them out. And I always like to point them out because A, 9 out of 10 of them I can fix and make better than came that way from the factory. So I like to at least point it out so you can see before and after. Also, it's protection, right? So you're seeing this car torn apart. I'm about to put it back together. Your brain, like I literally talked to a doctor a long time ago about this because it was like customer after customer was talking, this is different. It's like, no, it's really not. It's just, there has to be an explanation, and there is. It's like psychologically speaking, there is an explanation because you've seen this car torn apart and your brain just is like, nope, that's gotta be misaligned somewhere. So you're just looking for things, but I assure you it's not. So I want to show you on this car some of the things that I look for. I've briefly looked at this. Isn't near as bad as some of these are, but so like you see down here, this is again factory, door still open regularly. You see how far this fender's kicked out in front of the door. I mean, obviously from this side it doesn't really stand out too dramatically, but a lot of times you have those issues where the fenders are not lined up. And a lot of indication of that is if you look this way and I look straight down, you can see how this body line does not line up, you know, great with that part of the car. So those types of imperfections, I generally can pull and like get back together better than what it came from the factory. The other one too is if you look down here, and what we're looking for is kind of right there where the door panel meets the kind of styling of the dash. You can see that it's not obviously the smallest, neatest gap. It's not aligned. There's positioning issues with that on both sides. Generally, one side or the other is more off than the other. Let's take a look at the passenger side. But it's not horrible. But those just inconsistencies like that. Same kind of thing with this fender. It's not horrible, but it's not what I would call perfect. I'm just overall looking at the gaps, position of the door, and it's those types of things. And then you'll pay attention to the front, you know, close that when you open. And you're just kind of looking at all of the gaps to have a good idea of what this was before you touched it and tore it apart. Oh, don't lock. Oh, I did lock. Okay, he just gave me his key. So another thing I've kind of came to realize a long time ago, So I open the doors all the way. Well, it doesn't have to go all the way, I just open the doors. And I just lightly push them closed to listen. And what I'm listening for is, well, I'm listening for something and I'm also looking at something. I remember when I first started doing these, it was like a moment of when you close that door, the pressure was just so high that it fought against that door's complete closure. So it kind of kicked back a little bit, as it felt like, and I think you still notice it to this day sometimes, where it's like, I push the door, it doesn't close all the way. And I kind of always just assumed it was like a pressure thing. Basically what I've learned though, after all these years of doing the C8, is that there are minor, I feel like, torquing issues with the factory hinges on these cars, to where they're offsetting, pushing this, pulling this, and it's ever so slightly torqued in a different way, where it itself is kind of out of alignment. And you can notice that too sometimes when I'm releasing all the 4 bolts, and you can see a kind of like, just like, like a relief of the pressure that was on that door. So I'm mentally gauging that, because that dictates the installation process, right? So you know what to offset, because this car was not necessarily handmade. There is more human intervention with the Corvettes than, say, an Equinox or, you know, other GM models that come off the assembly line. So they, by hand, will modify, not necessarily by hand build this car. You kind of are limited sometimes to how that person that made the modifications to make that kind of perfect in their views work. So you're kind of trying to build back to that too sometimes when you're removing these factory hinges and putting on a vertical door kit. So there's just all those things that you just learn with experience, you know. And I know that, talk to some people, customers, I think body shops, and you guys have heard me talk about body shops in the past, some of the worst, you know, just some of the worst, because they know everything, which is mind-boggling to me, that there's somebody that knows everything that's out there about cars. Nonetheless, they make it sound like this is so easy to do, and even other retailers of these things make it sound like it's so easy to do. And it's not offensive to me. I've always said, yeah, a 12-year-old kid with a socket set could probably put a set of doors in their car. But what's it gonna look like? What's it gonna feel like? How long is it gonna last? I mean, there's a lot of caveats and nuances that go along with that experience is what dictates like the quality or the outcome of that at a certain point. So, oh my God, I just noticed a chandelier in the garage. Anyways, so I just want to kind of show you some of those things that I look for before I actually start turning the car, go over with the customer to point out, hey, this is what it looks like now. You'll see I'm going to get this better aligned, you know, down the road. And I just like to gauge what I'm dealing with now. And once I start removing things, then it just makes it easier for me. It's my process, I guess. We're going to go ahead and get this. God damn. We're going to go ahead and get started tearing this apart. Can't not shout out and mention the bedazzled Lexus SC430 here. Kind of pimping. Look at this. Around the antennae, the door. Someone had some fun with the bedazzle machine. Is there any more? Yeah, this side too. That's cool. And you can kind of see the reflected around the rim. I like to have fun with their cars. But anyways, let's go. So, did any of you know that Golden, Colorado is home to Coors Brewing Company? Literally the largest brewer house in the country. Right here in Golden, California. Nope. Right here in Golden, California. They literally use fresh Rocky Mountain water from the Clear Creek. In the 1800s, Golden served as this state's capital in the 1800s before Denver took it over. Golden is also home to one of the top engineering and applied science schools in the nation. I think that's pretty cool. There's a place here called Dinosaur Ridge where you can literally walk in and around footsteps of over 100 million year old dinosaur foot track specimens. That's crazy. Also, I'm sure you guys have heard of Buffalo Bill. He's buried right over there. Like, not literally right over there, but over on Lookout Mountain. That looks right down on the city of Golden. This place is super, super gorgeous. It's actually, when you see any major film production or commercials of the Rocky Mountains and the streams, like just this beautiful, like Colorado, you know, most of that footage, major film production studios film that right here in Golden because it's just so pristine and beautiful. And since I did on the last one, there are some celebrities that are from Golden. Melissa Etheridge, but obviously there's other routes for Westinghouse, Boyd Westinghouse, not necessarily specifically from Golden, but had a huge part in like the industrial aspect of what eventually came to like the Golden Era, as well as, like I said before, Buffalo Bill.
How's it going, Tim?
Good, how are you, man?
Manufacturer,
Nice to meet you.
designer, and installer on site. Well, you want to drive it? No, I don't want to drive it. Okay. Wow. That is fancy. All right. You know, my dog Corvette had the same thing.
Okay, so as you guys obviously know, I don't have any set script on how we do these videos, like what we show, what we don't show, things like that. I mean, obviously there's things that we don't show because we're not a how-to channel for the doors, but each video is slightly different. So I didn't film any montage stuff of the tear down and put down and put together and all that kind of good stuff with the assembly of this kit. However, since I did show you some imperfections that I saw during the initial inspection, the car's done, so we're gonna go back, if I can remember exactly everything I showed you, to show you the improvements that were made for those initial imperfections. So we'll start with the driver's side first. This is lined up now with that. How it was before was not. The gap looks much better. Same with the back gap. And as you see, that panel right there, where it lines up with the dashboard, is also now even and flush because it wasn't before. So lift this door up, and of course it's locked, and out and then up. You obviously know how to do that part. So unfortunately, Mr. Adams is in bed. It's 8 o'clock. I've only been here for about 5 hours, 5.5 hours. Just need to get off his feet. So he's not in bed sleeping, he's just upstairs laying down. So he asked me if I would be kind enough to just wrap this up without him, but he was down here throughout this install process. He absolutely loves it, was messing with it here and there. He had doors on a C7, obviously from the other company. And he was like, oh my God, this is a complete, it feels completely different. It's like, it's nothing remotely close to what their kit feels like. So that's a huge compliment, so I thank you for that. This came out beautifully. So that was that first line. Let's go and look at the door, the passenger door, because that was more of an out of alignment situation here. But as you can see here, we've got everything lined up. But the significant one is, you see how this is now flush. That was not flush before. And then also the fenders do not stick out like they did before I touched this car. So overall, we made some pretty significant improvements to the fit and finish from what it was from the factory, and it looks great. There's no such thing as a dumb question, because obviously at the end of the day, you guys are wanting to do this modification in your car. So you should ask every question you could possibly think of. Hence why a lot of times I talk so much about everything that you guys don't even ask when you guys call. I divulge everything. I feel that just like I have a compulsion to let you know everything about this because it's important. You should. It's your car and it's a lot of money. But one of the common questions that we get a lot is the windows. Are the windows still going to function the right way? How that comes down, you know, when you open the door. So I'm just show you that. Again, I know I don't normally show this type of stuff on videos, but so it's closed as you see. We'll open it. Window still comes down, goes close and goes up. Every single thing functions the same exact way once this modification is done as it does as your car's factory. Everything sits the same. Everything functions the same, acts the same, everything. This was an awesome experience to meet Babe and to do his HTC for him. Truly was my pleasure. He was so humble. He was so like just welcoming. He asked like numerous times. He brought me like a thing of donuts. I obviously don't eat donuts, but I did have a bite of one. I haven't eaten all day, but so I had to go to Home Depot and get a couple things. And he's like, why don't you stop on the way back at a liquor store and get a bottle of Crown? And I'm like, I appreciate the gesture. I'm good. I don't really drink much anymore since like going to the gym all the time. I very, very seldom drink. Don't really have the time, nor really the desire to really drink. So, but let's go ahead and give you like just a full finished close-up view of this car. So when he was ordering this, he asked like the general typical questions, like what's the addition mean and things like that. And I told him what they meant. But I asked him, I was like, what color are your calipers? And he's like, they're red. I was like, are they torch red? Fortunately, when I got here, I realized they weren't actually torch red. They were the mist red, the red mist, however you want to say it. So he went with torch, but he's like, yeah, it gives a subtle little accent difference, but it really doesn't stand out too bad. Like, it's not that big of a difference. And I think it's because that yellow, or that red kind of strip around his rim kind of draws that contrasting red hue in. So it looks beautiful, I think. I think it looks fine. One of the biggest differences between our V2 and obviously any other kit on the market is the aesthetics, like what it looks like. Not just on the car, but the functionality of it. It's easier, tremendously easier to lift and lower. It's smoother. You're not gonna have the creaks, the noises. It's all on bearings. Just on an engineering level, this kit is light years ahead of anything else that's on the market. But it's all of that advancements that's really played the effect to get the doors to be more vertical, tighter to the vehicle, and just overall better, in my opinion. More visually appealing than what else is on the market. Up until the V1 came out, I was more than happy with what was currently on the market. I had no qualms about it. I had no like, this sucks or it looks like crap. I didn't, but it's one of those things where you don't realize how good something looks until you have something to compare it to. And when something came out that was done better than what was already on the market, then it's like, oh my God, that does look way different. There's a lot of differences between those two. So, and again, coming from me, it's biased, but you've heard it from all of our customers that have our V2s. And you've heard it from customers even with our V1s. It's just, I'm so blessed, I'm so thankful, I'm so happy for where this kit has evolved to now, from where it was before in the beginning. But that is what product evolution is. And that's what I've been so compassionate and dedicated to, is it's not a jealousy thing, it's not a vindictive thing, it's I've been doing this industry for so long that when whatever happened between us and the previous supplier, it was like we amassed a really large company, and now, oh my God, we can't get kits from them? Like, what are we gonna do? So we had to pull the trigger and do what we needed to do. I feel like anyone would have done the same thing in that situation. And eventually, companies that, if they were to grow, and if they were to excel at what we did and how we did what we did, they're gonna also outgrow the other guys. So they're gonna experience the same shit. They really are. It's just, we established a demand for a product that we needed to also manufacture, because the delays, the issues, the problems, we just couldn't sustain them anymore. We couldn't take the blame from them for something that has nothing to do with us. We weren't the manufacturer. We weren't in control of how long it takes you to get your kits shipped out when we ordered them. And their lies that they would tell customers, oh, we sent them kits. It's like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Like, show the proof, show those orders, show those shipping, like nothing. And they know they can't. So I am so thankful to be where we are and to continue this fight and this push forward in making Eikon great again. Wait, hold on. Making vertical doors great again. Eikon Motorsports. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna sign out from Golden, Colorado. It was a pleasure. Babe, you are awesome. It was a pleasure meeting you. And I'm glad you love your car. Until next time, guys, please like, subscribe, and share. If you have any questions, put them in the comment. See you later. I'm gonna go in briefly over the historic history between you and Eikon.
It's been a while.
the embattled